At this point, I think it's safe to say that this game needs no introduction. But if you were to say this when this version, especially, was being pushed out, that would have been a different story. Welcome to Stories and Nostalgia. Basically, this series is just going to be me talking about memories I have of this game and just small stories about the times I had with friends, family, and just overall chill while listening to the sounds of the old game. Today, I want to focus on something that a lot of people, especially if you grew up when this game was in 2012, probably around there, and that would be diamond houses. For some reason, everyone made these, and to be honest, I really don't know why. It could be that back then, the game didn't really have an end to it, so diamonds were kind of your end goal. Could also be that, it is diamond after all, so it is a plus. And these houses were pretty simple. Basically just a square like this, sometimes floating, sometimes on a tree, mainly just on the ground though. Probably one of my fondest memories was when I very first played the game. My friends and I were just on a creative world just like this, and we all had our own diamond houses, and my brother wanted to play, and he ended up making his own house. It was kind of interesting because it kind of looked more like a zigzag more than a square. He was trying to build around the Minecraft terraform, but I'm not sure. He ended up building a pool on top of it, and I remember specifically that the water would always drip. You just see a bunch of just basically what looked like rain every single time you were in his house. I remember one time, my friends and I, we started another world, and we decided to build a tree house. And, of course, using diamond was one of our blocks of choice. And we just built a square of diamonds on top of this poor tree. We decided later that we wanted it to be floating, so we just got rid of the tree. It was kind of fun. We ended up making the windows very big, and the floor actually out of glass. So anymore, it wasn't really a diamond house. It was more of a glass house. But it was still fun. Just like any other house back back then. You didn't really add a lot of detail. Some light. And then, you know, of course, your red bed. Craft table furnace. A few chests. It was enough to be called home. I think it's just kind of interesting that it seemed like everyone built houses like this. And like I said, I don't really know why people would build houses. But it was an interesting time. And it's definitely something fun to look at as anymore. The building houses out of ores. Not exactly looked upon in a good light anymore. For some reason, it was something all of us did. And we enjoyed it. It really was a different time back then. No detail, no nothing. Just a straight up block. And although it seemed like everyone here, or at least everyone I knew, did this, I'm not sure if this was very much so something that everyone seemed to do. I'm curious if any of you guys did this. It's a fond memory. Gotta have the indoor pool, of course. As you did back then. Didn't really seem to be much more building in this. I mean, you always have your essentials. Crafting table, the furnace, the chests. And of course, you know, you gotta have the pool. Seems as though all my builds back then were like that. And what's interesting is that I always did this in creative. But I don't know anyone who ever did this in survival. I mean, it is a ton of diamonds for kind of, let's be honest, an ugly house. But I'm curious if anyone ever did it in survival. You gotta have your little balcony with chairs and slabs, as you once did. That's pressure plate, but you know. It looks like a slab, that's for sure. Something about this game. Especially the old versions of it. Could be fences somewhere. Look at that. Ah, there they are. And of course, you gotta have your jukebox up here. What else are you gonna do? Chillax with all your friends. That's what he did. Hmm. You have fond memories of this? Interesting question for sure. Truly was a different time back then.